Well, I'm so excited. I hope somebody will join me. This is my very first Zoom meeting of the Stressed Supermoms group. And it's quite exciting. I don't exactly know how many of you have ever done this, but or done these kind of meetings. But at any rate, I am happy to be able to share whatever kind of insights and knowledge that I may have to be able to help you on your journey. And I don't know if you got the email that I sent tonight, but there's so much that's wonderful about the terrible things that we've been through that have taught us so much, right? So anyway, I'm excited, and I hope that you are going to join me. So let's see how this goes. Okay. Tonight, and by the way, turn your volume up. Let me see. How can I write this so that you'll be able to understand it? Just in case this is reposted on Facebook, I want you to know, turn your volume up. See? It's backwards. Well, it won't be backwards when you finally see it. So turn your volume up, and then you'll be able to hear me in case you don't hear me right now. So there's something I was hoping to share with you tonight. I don't know if any of you know the journey that I went through to create this wonderful space for us to communicate and join together. But what happened is a kind of a long story, and I won't bother you with all the details yet. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty soon. The first thing that I want you to know, though, is that I'm Ruth Elliott-Hilsdon, and I have 7 children. They're all grown up, but now I have grandchildren, and it's been quite an adventure. So I have probably made all the mistakes already, so you don't have to. You can just ask me, and I'll say, no, don't do that. I tried it and it didn't work. So one of the things, though, that did work happened quite by accident, and well, it was divine. It really was. And I sent out an email. I don't know if you read it, but what happened was I was totally overloaded once when, well, that has happened many times actually. I was totally overloaded one day, and I just like suddenly went into this panic mode where I realized I couldn't keep it all together. And I freaked out, and I yelled and screamed at the kids. And then I felt so horrible. And I ran into the bathroom and said, God, please, what's happening to me? I used to be such a nice person. And then I realized I needed more help. I just couldn't do it all. My husband didn't help. He did change one dirty diaper once, and then he threw up and never did it again with our first child. So I never had any help with that kind of thing. And then his mother had always cleaned the house and run after him being an only child. He never had to do anything. And so he was kind of like helpless in the cleaning department. And then he could escape when he went off to work. And I was left with everything. But at any rate, I had a job too, working at home, which was quite, intensive. How do you work at home with 7 children? But this moment in time that I'm explaining about was when I only had 4 children. And so, like I said, I just totally ran into the bathroom, crying and saying, God, I used to be such a nice person. What happened? And so I was thinking, I need help. I need help. All this stuff is just falling down upon me, and how can I get it done? I was just dying. So I cried out to God, and at that moment, I realized these kids could help, but how could they help if I haven't taught them how? So at that moment, the light bulb went on, and I ran out of the bathroom, and I said, kids, I am so sorry that I yelled at you and hurt your feelings, and I'm so sorry. It wasn't your fault. I'm just overloaded, and I'm so exhausted from having too much to do. And I said, I'll tell you what. I said, you don't like it when Mommy yells, do you? And they all went, no, we don't like it. And so I said, well, I don't like it either. And so I'll tell you what we're going to do. If you will help me get some of the work done, I promise not to yell, and I will do my best. Well, the kids were like, okay, let's help. So we wrote down all the little chores that I knew they could help me with, put them all in a little hat, mixed them up, and that night we had our first home family meeting that was, going to be the start of many family meetings we would have. And all the kids they picked out a chore, and the other guy would pick out a chore, and they'd all look at the chores and they go, ooh, I don't want to do that. Well, I don't want to do that. Let's trade, and we'd have this little game like we'd play where everybody would say, well, what can you do? And what can you do? And we got it all organized and wrote it down on a chart. And some of the kids couldn't read, so I would draw pictures of their chore. Pretty soon it was more fun if we all had pictures, so I drew a whole bunch of pictures, and that later became the basis of my site Go Mommy Go, that has the free behavior charts and chore charts. So at any rate, every day they would do their little chores, and I would show them how to do it and taught them each step of the way. And then they'd get better and better. So it was such a wonderful time of becoming more empowered and not so desperate and helpless. And that's what I'd like to share with you today if you're having trouble with your kids. Now, maybe your kids are babies and can't help at all. Well, there are other things that you can do. So I want to go over these things one at a time, step by step. And as you have any little problems with them, we'll share, okay? So please send me your emails, send me your questions, and we can get going and learn a lot of things, okay? So anyway, that's my wish for you, that you would be able to get some peace and harmony and be able to find your way. So let's go on with some of the other tips that I wanted to share with you. Oh, by the way, hold on a second. I have something I want to show you. Oh, it's right here. This is my little Stressed Supermom flyer. And it is something that you may get one from me if you see me on the street sometime or at the grocery store. And the way this works is, this is my little flyer that tells about our meeting, Stressed Supermoms, that meets every Wednesday at 7 o'clock at night for now. Now, if it ends up that nobody can make it at that time, we will choose a better time, okay? So this is what's happening. This is the flyer that shows the Stressed Supermom and tells about what I do, who I am. And by the way, my name is Ruth Elliott-Hilsdon, and I'm an Emmy Award-winning animator. That's what I did for 27 years. And also a musician, and now I'm retired. So I get a chance to share all the things that I've learned with the next batch of moms coming up. Now, on the other side of this little flyer that I made is one of the behavior charts. Now, this is a free behavior chart that you can download and customize from 100 different pictures that are all at GoMommyGo.com. The way it works is you sign up at GoMommyGo.com and you download the master chart that gives you the blank chart on top and 100 different pictures at the bottom, each symbolizing a different chore. And then you can cut and paste the ones you need for that week. And it's really kind of fun. It works great. The kids love it. This is the reason why I did this. Once we did the chore charts with the pictures and everybody knew what their job was, then they'd get their good marks or stickers or whatever. And then at the end of the week, we would take everybody to the 99-cent store. And I'd say, you can pick out one of anything in the store. Well, that meant it only cost me $7 a week. The kids loved it. They would go through the entire store and choose things. And one day, my daughter, Lisa, came to me and she said, Mom, I want a plunger. And I said, a plunger? What do you want a plunger for? And she said, well, I know it's important because there's only one in the house and you never let me touch it. So I said, but what are you going to do with it? So she said, well, I want to pretend I'm Spider-Man and go on the kitchen floor. And so I thought that was really fun. So I said, well, okay. Well, she got her plunger and nobody ever used it for anything except for whatever she wanted to use it for. So that was really fun. So for 99 cents, it only cost me $7 a week for all my 7 kids. And they just would work like little dogs for all their, for their little treat. And this was good too because I didn't have to be the bad guy all the time. I could say, oh, honey, I see your shoes are on the floor and you didn't put them away yet. Does that mean you don't want your treat this weekend? And they'd say, oh, I want my treat. And I'd say, well, go ahead. You put your shoes away and I will get you your good mark. Suddenly I was the nice guy and the chart was the bad guy. So that's just one of many little life-saving tips that kept me from losing my mind. Because how many times, I don't know if you have any little kids, but how many times I remember when the kids would come home before I discovered this system, they would just like throw their shoes anywhere. We'd find them behind the couch, under the bed, and oh my gosh, we could be late for school almost every single day because couldn't find the shoes. So that was a big lifesaver. If they knew the minute they came home, put the shoes away. So that was really, really helpful. And all the other things too, like time to brush your teeth and stuff like that. Now, these are things that we can go over each one of these chores eventually, but I want a chance to kind of get a little introduction so that you can have some time to share what your concerns are, because I know that we all have different kinds of problems. Some of them are personal problems with our mate. Some are physical problems. We're just exhausted all the time. And others are emotional problems. Maybe we don't really feel we have enough love and appreciation in our lives. And that's another problem. So we can talk about anything. But the main thing that's wonderful is that we have somebody to talk to. So we all need each other. So that's why I'm here. And that's why I want to help. So please feel free to come and join me. And if you've missed this particular meeting, then hey, there's always next week. And please email me and text me in the text box. I will read every single one of your little comments once this is reposted on Facebook. I will read all of your comments and respond. So make sure that you tell me if you have another type of problem, or private message me. And, you know, a lot of these problems are very personal and you just don't want to share them with anyone. And I totally understand. There's a million problems I had that I never shared with anybody. And that's part of the reason why I was going bonkers. So it wasn't until I finally did find a good friend to share my deepest problems with that I really could get any kind of relief. I think I was going to explode many times. So please contact me and let me know what you need, okay? So I appreciate that very, very much. And also the fact that these meetings are private. Now, I will not post any of the meetings that have your personal things on them with anyone who isn't also in the meeting. If we join up together, you're in the meeting too. But nobody else will get to see them, only the people in our private members only group. And I'm always ready to help. So if there's something that's too important that you can't share with anyone else, nobody, not even the people in the members group, then private message me and I will work something out. We can do a private coaching call, and that's something that I will make available to you. Okay, so I am thinking that perhaps, since no one has joined yet, we will pause this for a bit and perhaps come back. Okay? Oh, one more tip. Okay. And we may go over this again because it's so important. The foundation of a house is foundational. It's the most important part, right? Well, it's not the most important part, but it's the part that holds it up, right? So, if you want to know the foundations of a good relationship with your mate, with your kids, an easy way to remember it is, let me write this down. Remember the 3 R's? When we were little kids, they'd say reading, writing, arithmetic. Even though arithmetic is spelled with an A, arithmetic is the way they would say it. So reading, writing, arithmetic. Now these 3 R's, you can remember the foundations of good relationships with the R. R is for relationship, right? Well, in the first one, if you remember reading, writing, and arithmetic, okay? In the reading part, the first R, reading, is when we listen. We're reading another person. We're taking them in. If the first thing we need to do in communication is listen, read the person, see, listen, and take it in. You're reading that person, okay? So that's the first R. The second R is and I know I've spelled it wrong, but it's got to be an R. Writing. Okay. What is writing? Okay, I'm going to put the W there just because it bothers me not to say writing. Okay. Reading, writing, writing. Okay. Writing is when we talk back. When we communicate, when we write, first we read, listen to what the other person has to say, and then we write, meaning we give something back. We express what we feel. Now, if we are expressing what we're feeling, we just have to remember to listen first, then talk and express ourselves. And the writing also represents letting them express. That means first you listen, then you communicate. So, and communication is like a bouncing ball that we throw back and forth to each other, right? The reason why is because first you throw the ball to them, then they throw the ball back. When my little girl, my first child, Diana, when she was 2 years old, she didn't know how to play ball. We got her a big plastic ball, one of those ones that are really light, and you buy them for $1 at the store. You know, they're real kind of squishy. They probably pop too soon, too. Well, so we got her one of those big balls that are plastic, and I was trying to play ball with her. So I'd throw her the ball, and she'd catch it, and she wouldn't let it go. She just would not. She'd walk around the room with it, and I'd say, well, throw it back. But no, she would keep the ball. She didn't want to throw it back. Well, two-year-olds are famous for that. That's their thing. It's mine, mine, mine. Because all 2-year-olds, that's what they're trying to establish. Where's the boundary line between me and you? So 2-year-olds are famous for, it's mine, mine, no. They learn the word no and they won't give. So what was interesting is, okay. So then we were talking about reading and then writing. Now what about arithmetic? Okay. The 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay? Arithmetic, spelled wrong, but oh well. So, arithmetic. Arithmetic. Okay. Here it is, spelled wrong. Okay. Arithmetic. What is it? It's when we add things up, right? We learn about numbers. Okay. So, first, what this symbolizes, first we read the other person, we learn to listen and find out, observe and listen. Then we communicate, right? First you listen, then you communicate. Then, what is arithmetic? We add it all up. Through our communication, we can come to conclusions. We can figure things out. And we can decide on how to make something fair. Because if things don't add up, it's not fair, right? Why should 2 and 2 equal 3 for you and 1 for me? That's not fair. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? Well, and if 2 plus 2 equals 1, that's wrong. 2 plus 2 equals 5, that's wrong. So, that's where we learn to be fair and to add things up properly. So, without listening, reading the person properly, and without communicating properly, things don't add up. But that's why we need all of them. The reading, the writing, the arithmetic. Anyway, that's my little cute lesson for today. It's a good way to explain it to the kids. If you're trying to say, oh, no, 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 Johnny, don't do that. You can't just take the ball away from your brother and into your room and think that he's not going to be sad. Okay. You start, first you go in and you talk to him and you say, hey, I see that you want to play ball, but this is his ball. So first we talk, we listen, we say, now wait a minute, you want to play ball? Is that why you're taking his ball? So then he can explain, instead of just coming to the wrong conclusions and adding things up wrong. So you have to communicate, and then you can teach your children how to communicate, because that is such a good thing. And that is one of the keys to having good relationships with your children and your mate, because it works with either of them. One of the hardest things is when people come to the wrong conclusion, but they do it instantaneously. They assume, you know the old saying, when you assume, let me write this down because this is something that maybe somebody hasn't heard. Okay, here's the word assume. When you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. Right. You probably have heard that before. But anyway, if you haven't, there it is. Assume. So you can't assume things because, okay, sometimes, well, I guess the only exercise some people get is jumping to conclusions. Ha ha ha. That's the old joke. Well, my late husband used to do that a lot. He would come in and I would say something and he would totally take it the wrong way and just fly off the handle and assume that I meant something that I didn't mean. And I'd think, wait a minute, you haven't even heard me out. So, of course, I learned by being on the hurting end how not to do it. Now, you, being smarter than all of that, will get the benefit. So now you can, when you go into a room, when other people are there, whether they're whoever it is, listen first, do the reading, and then when you assess the situation, then you do reading, writing, communication. Then you can speak and bounce the ball, throw the ball back and forth. And after you've done that, then you can do the arithmetic, which is adding it all up, coming to the conclusions that will make fairness for all of you. And that's great. That's what we want. We want a win-win situation for everybody, and that's what they call negotiation. So, well, I love you all, and I'm hoping that you can join me again next time and not have to worry about having anything horrible happen in your life. I don't want that to happen. So, but stress is always there. And as I was saying last night, I was thinking about the title of our group is the Stressed Supermoms Support Group. Now, what makes a supermom? What makes a supermom is any mom who is doing her best is a supermom. And any mom who is doing her best is stressed. There's no way around it. You can't go in the other room without worrying, like, oh, wait a minute, is the kid still alive? Did he, do something bad? Or, oh my gosh, what's going on? Your heart, no matter where you walk in the world, no matter where you go, whether you're at a job far away, or you're in the next room, your heart is stuck with a big long string to your child, and you can't You don't want to get rid of that. Your love is gluing you long distance. So this is why you can't avoid stress, because you can't stop loving them. And even when you're mad at them and you just feel like you hate them, you still love them. That's why you get mad. Do you care about the kid across the street and what he does? No. Not like you care about your own kid. Okay, you do care about the kid across the street, but you don't have the same measure of concern about the kid across the street. It's your own kid that you feel this burden of love. And it's a lovely burden. It's not horrible. We love it. But it is a burden. And that's why we always want to do the best we can. But that's why we're also under stress. So, if you're a mom and you're stressed, that's normal. Join the club. So, that's why I call it StressedSupermoms.com. Because any mom that loves her kids and is doing her best is a super mom. Thank you so much for watching this, and let's get together soon, okay? Because there's so many other problems we have to talk about. And many that will come up as we go along, okay? So, let's talk soon. And I'm Ruth Elliott-Hilsdon. Happy to meet you, if I don't already know you, and I probably already do. So, have a good evening, and please, when you watch this, the replay, please add your comments and share with your friends or any other moms that you know that might benefit from some of these good tips. And share your comments if you think that we should meet at another time besides Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, because another time may be more convenient for some of you. So let me know, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.